Welcome to Book Snap. Today, we'll be discussing the book Never Lie by Freida McFadden. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest summaries added. The story of Never Lie unfolds between the present and the past, intertwining the lives of various characters in a backdrop of mystery and psychological tension. In the present, Trisha and her husband Ethan, newlyweds, get lost during a snowstorm while searching for a house for sale in Westchester, New York. When they arrive at their destination, they discover a large and imposing property that appears to be abandoned. As they explore, Trisha finds books and items that suggest a connection to a missing psychiatrist, Dr. Adrian Hale, the author of the book The Anatomy of Fear. In the past, the story follows Adrian Hale, a psychiatrist living in isolation in a large house, and her interactions with her literary agent, Paige, and her patients. Adrian is depicted as a strong and independent character, uninterested in social expectations but deeply dedicated to her work. In the present, Trisha discovers a secret room in the house filled with audio tapes containing Dr. Hale's therapy sessions. One of the recordings reveals a session with a young woman, PL, who is suffering from PTSD after surviving a traumatic incident. Another recording involves a man named EJ, who exhibits threatening behavior towards Dr. Hale after learning that he can no longer afford therapy sessions. Meanwhile, the story alternates between the present with Trisha, who becomes increasingly obsessed with the tapes and Dr. Hale's story, and Adrian's past. Events become more unsettling, with Trisha experiencing strange phenomena in the house, including the mysterious reappearance of a portrait of Dr. Hale that she and Ethan had moved, fueling paranoia and fear that someone else may be in the house with them. Adrian Hale works at a free clinic and has a complex relationship with Luke, a technology-savvy man. Adrian is portrayed as an intelligent and independent woman, deeply involved in the care of her patients and valued for her professionalism. She shows a strong concern for her privacy and security, leading her to decide to install a home security system with Luke's help. The relationship between them becomes complicated, evolving from physical attraction to something more serious. Luke assists Adrian in installing the security system, but their relationship becomes strained when he discovers the nature of Adrian's actions through a compromising video that she tries to delete. The situation worsens when a troublesome patient named EJ begins to threaten Adrian, even going so far as to show up at her doorstep. In parallel, Trisha makes a series of disturbing discoveries. She finds a series of recordings that reveal intimate details of Adrian's life, including her involvement with difficult patients like EJ and the nature of her relationship with Luke. Trisha and her husband Ethan explore the house and the mystery surrounding it, confronting their own anxieties and a growing sense of danger. Trisha finds herself in a dangerous situation when her husband Ethan discovers a man, Luke, hidden in their home. Luke turns out to be Adrian's boyfriend, who has gone missing under mysterious circumstances. Ethan and Trisha are unsure whether to trust him, despite his attempts to explain his presence and his innocence regarding Adrian's disappearance. Ethan discovers that Trisha has been listening to some of the audio tapes of Adrian's therapy sessions and forbids her from listening to any more. Tensions between them escalate when Trisha realizes that there are secrets Ethan doesn't want to share. This section closes with a transcript of a recorded session between Adrian and one of her patients, Patricia. In it, Adrian accuses Patricia of fabricating a violent attack to cover up a murder she herself committed. The session ends with Adrian asking Patricia for help in resolving the problem. Adrian describes how Patricia lured EJ to the casino, sitting next to him at the poker table and following the plan without even telling him her name. She then induced him to follow her to her vehicle with the promise of returning to his seat. During the car ride, EJ became increasingly drowsy due to something Patricia had put in his casino drink until he lost consciousness. Patricia kills Adrian because she realizes how dangerous Adrian is and fears that she may reveal the truth about her. Patricia reflects on her action of burying Adrian's body in an isolated location, off a dirt road, where she thinks it will never be found. Patricia describes how she handled the situation more shrewdly than Adrian, criticizing the latter for hiding EJ's body in her own home. Patricia carefully planned her steps to avoid being connected to Adrienne's disappearance and to manage the implications of her death. Patricia later takes refuge in Manhattan, marries Ethan, and tries to start a new life but remains haunted by EJ's fate. This story becomes even more complicated when Patricia discovers that Adrienne's old house is up for sale, stirring up old fears and buried secrets. This story concludes with a shocking revelation. Ethan confesses to Patricia that he killed her mother, revealing a dark and twisted similarity between the two characters. This confession brings out a dark side of their relationship, with Patricia realizing the similarities between their methods and motivations for killing.